Hello and welcome. Today, I'd like to continue my Conspiracies and Propaganda series by talking to you about somebody that I really love, historical figure named Nikola Tesla. Without further ado, let's begin. He is one of my all-time favorite people. Nikola Tesla from Serbia, uh, born on July 10th, 1856 to January 1943. Serbian American, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, physicist, and futurist who is best known for his contributions to the designs of modern alternating current electricity supply system. Tesla gained experience in telephony and electrical engineering before emigrating to the United States in 1884 to work for Thomas Edison in New York City. He soon struck out on his own with financial backers, setting up laboratories and companies to develop a range of electrical devices. His patented AC induction motor and transformer were licensed by George Westinghouse, who also hired Tesla for a short time as a consultant. His work in the formative years of electrical power development was involved in a corporate alternating current, direct current war of currents, as well as various patent battles. He became a naturalized U.S. citizen in 1891. And I'm going to stop right there so I don't get ahead of myself. But a few of the things that he did when he worked for Nikola Tesla, or when Tesla worked for Edison, Edison promised him a $50,000 bonus to create a seal for the light bulb that we use in most, lamps and whatnot. The old school light bulbs, not the efficient ones. Those are Teslas. Tesla created a vacuum seal for it. Edison didn't pay him his $50,000. And Tesla, it broke his heart. And for 2 years, he was like a ditch digger until he got backing by J.P. Morgan and George Westinghouse. But Tesla's bulb, Tesla invented a way better bulb than what Edison had anyway. Edison's bulb, even though he got the basic credit for it, wouldn't have been possible without Nikola Tesla, for starters. And Edison's bulb is 90% heat and 10% light. Tesla's bulb is way more efficient. It's the one we use modern day fluorescent lights, and the ones we use for high efficiency bulbs, they are 90% light and 10% heat. They're exactly the opposite. Way more efficient, way better. And alternating current is way better than direct current, which Edison really tried to push for. The battle of the currents was a really big deal. Direct current lines, as you see in this photograph, nearly blocked out the sun in some places in the country. And if we were to have that today, no doubt there would be unlimited amount of power lines. Apologize for that. It is difficult to tell from the quality of the photo, but you're looking at a world that has enough utility wires to blot out the sun. How many birds were getting stuck in that shit? Did suicide jumpers get caught in the tangle and have to be rescued by the fire department? Pretty funny. So this is just one example. I've seen other pictures, and it's hard to kind of tell from this old school photograph, but alternating current takes way less wires, very thin even in compared to direct current. And direct current needed a power station every few miles, where alternating current can go over vast distances. And if we didn't have this today, we would be in a way worse situation. Tesla later invented at the Wardenclyffe Tower wireless transmission of power, both through the air and through the substrate in the earth. And he had proved that it worked. He built the towers. And when he said to J.P. Morgan, who was his financial backer, that that it's all ready to go and he's going to have wireless. It's amazing that it got this far, but he said, we're all ready to go. And JP Morgan goes, well, where are we going to plug in the meter? How are we going to charge people for using our power? And Tesla was like, we're going to charge them for the devices that use the power, lamps, any electrical devices, which all our modern day devices were basically invented by Nikola Tesla. the radio, remote control for our drones, remote control for our satellites in general, radar technology, nearly everything that we use in our modern world that has anything to do whatsoever with wireless or almost any kind of electricity whatsoever was invented, and we stand on the shoulders of Nikola Tesla. When the battle was going on for the direct current versus alternating current war, Edison tried to prove his point by electrocuting an elephant. What a motherfucker. Can you imagine him doing this shit today? You know, he thought if he showed how dangerous it was, when in reality he had to use so much current that there are no houses that have that much current running through them, for starters. And secondly, direct current is a million times more dangerous. It's proven it'll stop your heart way quick, because direct current has current directly flowing into you. An alternating current phases back and forth. It alternates, going forward and backwards, and it goes way faster and way more efficient. I'm going to read to you a bit of this here, some interesting facts about Nikola Tesla. Tesla was considered an eccentric man who talked of death rays that could destroy 10,000 airplanes at a distance of 250 miles. However, Tesla devised the AC alternating current system that we use in our homes today. AC offered great advantages over the rival DC system. By using Tesla's transformers, AC voltages could be stepped up or down and transmitted over long distances through thin wires. DC could not. It required a large power plant every square mile and had to be transmitted through very thick cables. Tesla also invented electric motors that today are used in every appliance in your home. He invented fluorescent bulbs and neon signs, which there are many of those to this day, over 100 years old, that still work. Thomas Edison, whose money was invested in DC power systems, did his best to discredit Tesla. Edison even went so far as claimed that AC electricity was far more dangerous than his DC power. At the 1893 World Exposition in Chicago, Tesla demonstrated the safety of AC electricity was by passing high-frequency AC power through his body to power light bulbs. He then, the famous photographs of him holding a light bulb and the electricity coming off his Tesla coil, lighting it. He then was able to shoot large lightning bolts from his Tesla coils to the crowd without harm. Tesla was a fucking genius. In 1898, he was demonstrating to the world his first remote-controlled model boat at Madison Square Garden. Tesla wanted to provide free energy to the world, and in 1900 began constructing of a wireless broadcast system tower on Long Island, New York. This tower was intended to link the world's telephone and telegraph services and transmit pictures, stock reports, and weather information worldwide. And the funny thing is, we're not using that now. Like, the technology is over 100 years old, and we still have wires to this day. All of our appliances are plugged in. We wouldn't need any of that. Matter of fact, the fuel you put in your car could have been wirelessly transmitted to your engines. A lot of people don't know this, but the first car ever invented was an electric car, not a gas-powered car. You'd think we'd be all electric today, but nope. Because they've shit on and held back many of his inventions and stuff like that, we don't get the luxury of having his technology. So this idea that we don't have any technology or any way to do this any better than we're doing it today is absolutely patently absurd. I read both his biography and his autobiography, Nikola Tesla's, and anyone, if you want an awesome, if you're going to read on any historical figure, I'd say he's a good one to go through. Tesla ran into financial trouble with the world thinking he was insane. The transmission of voice, picture, and electricity was unheard of at this time. Imagine how good the internet would be. I mean, we basically use that now with our wireless, transmission of information through our smartphones. Tesla demonstrated the principles behind radio nearly 10 years before Marconi. In 1943, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that Marconi's patents were invalid due to Tesla's description of his work. Still, most references do not credit Tesla with the invention of radio. Tesla made the Earth into an electrical tuning fork by getting a stream-driven oscillator to vibrate at the same frequency as the ground. The result was an earthquake in the surrounding city. He had to accurately determine the resonant frequency of the Earth almost 60 years before science could confirm his results. In 1899, He sent waves of energy through the earth, thus providing the theory for earthquake seismic stations. By adding electricity to the returning energy, he created the largest man-made lightning bolt ever recorded, 130 feet. Holy shit. The accompanying thunder was heard 22 miles away and created a blue glow around the meadow outside of his Colorado laboratory. At the beginning of World War I, Tesla proposed the use of energy waves to detect German submarines, known today as radar. Thomas Edison rejected his ideas as ludicrous. I don't like Thomas Edison. That motherfucker pisses me off. And he gets so much fucking credit. Eventually, Tesla was awarded the Edison Medal, which was an insult to Tesla, given the verbal abuse that he had taken from Edison. Tesla died penniless at the age of 86 on January 7, 1943. In his lifetime, he received more than 800 different patents. Scientists continue to scour through his notes. The Tesla bladeless disc turbine engine that he designed, when made with modern materials, is proving to be among the most efficient motors ever made. Experiments he performed with cryogenic liquids and electricity provide the foundation for modern superconductors. He also talked about experiments that suggested particles with fractional charges of an electron. In 1977, they were discovered as quarks. Holy shit. Nikola Tesla has been referred to as the man who invented the 20th century. His use of alternating current and invention of the AC engine brought revolutionary changes in electrical power generation and transmission and remain the global standard today. Tesla recited entire books from memory and designed his machines in his head rather than on paper. He was also frequently ridiculed for proposing impossible inventions, which he then went on invented anyway. Tesla didn't talk no shit. Every single thing that Tesla ever said, he proved. And even though people couldn't wrap their brains around exactly how or, why, it didn't matter to Tesla. He was so far ahead of them that, and he always proved himself right. Nikola Tesla was beyond the doubt the greatest genius of the 20th century. Our way of life today, the technology that we take for granted, is all possible because of one incredible man from Europe. However, despite all his contributions to science, his name is little remembered outside the field of electronics and physics. In fact, Thomas Edison is often mistakenly credited in school textbooks with inventions that were developed and patented by Tesla, and that's exactly how I was taught in school. He was very eccentric. He died a virgin, I believe. He was a very eccentric person. It would have been nice if he had kids. If they could have inherited even half of his genius, we would live in a completely different world. I'm going to skip forward a little bit here. When Tesla died on January 7th, 1943, at the age of 86, representatives from the Office of Alien Property, at the request of the FBI, went to the hotel, New Yorker, and seized all of Tesla's belongings. That's where he lived for his last, I don't know how long. 2 truckloads of papers, furniture, and artifacts were sent under seal to the Manhattan Storage and Warehouse Company. This load was added to the almost 30 barrels and bundles that had been in storage since 1930s, and the entire collection was sealed under orders of the OAP. Strange behavior considering that Tesla was a legal American citizen. So basically, after he died, the FBI went in there and took all of his stuff. And some people say that they didn't, and that it's just a conspiracy theory. And I'm going to read to you a little bit here about right here. This is one person, 21st Century Books. They claim that it's historically incorrect that Tesla's papers were taken. But let me read to you the paragraph, and it's pretty amazing. Listen, this story is historically incorrect. Tesla's papers did not disappear. From all accounts, the actions taken following Dr. Tesla's death on January 7, 1943 were conducted in an orderly and respectful fashion. According to those present at the time, Tesla's papers and other personal possessions were placed under the charge of the Office of Alien Property, but he was an American citizen. His supposedly lost papers, even the ones of advanced weapons, along with his personal belongings, were brought to Manhattan Warehouse and Storage Company. Looked up. A certificate of ownership was issued to his nephew, Sava Kosnovic. It being wartime and considered Tesla's involvement in remote detection and advanced weapons development, the papers were quickly inspected for items possibly important to the national defense and then microfilmed. FBI documents obtained under the Freedom of Information Act show that these United States government microfilms were made available for use by the U.S. Army, Navy, and Air Force. In 1952, the Consolidated States was shipped to Yugoslavia. So let me get this straight. The story that they took his papers was historically incorrect. Yet the last few sentences is saying that the FBI had it on microfilm and took it all and gave it to the Army, Navy, and Air Force. How can he start out by saying it's incorrect and end by saying it is correct? Fucking retards. And that's why I'm covering Nikola Tesla right here. The two main points that I want to cover are how they took all of his papers and he had a death ray. A lot of people think the modern day HARP system, which can control electrical storms and that sort of thing, is directly from Nikola Tesla's papers, no doubt. And also the beat down of his alternating current. Thank God he won that alternating current war, even being less famous than Thomas Edison. But it's a complete conspiracy, and they try to cover it up and they try to fill our heads with bullshit. But it's pretty obvious what is up. Let me see here. That is about all I have to say on Nikola Tesla. I wanted to let everyone know what is up and the reason that we do not, to this day, use many of his patents. We don't need wires. Our electrical devices don't need to be plugged into walls. We do not need power lines. We would need way less, power sources, be it hydroelectric plants or nuclear facilities. And nuclear facilities are slowly killing the earth. Chernobyl back in the day, and then in, I think it was 2006 or 9, in Japan, Fukushima, like 2 or 3 nuclear silos burnt down and drained into the ocean, which is mutating fish all across the world. It's proven now. And it will soon be killing off people at a phenomenal rate. And none of this would be needed if we just use Nikola Tesla's power. So anyone that tells you that we do not have the technology to, have George Jetson type future is full of fucking shit. They don't know their history. Apparently they've never read anything about Tesla, and they're full of fucking shit. And you can tell them that to their face. Play in this video, or just look it up on Wikipedia and read that fucking shit to their fucking face. That's all I have to say. Till next time, thank you for listening. I've been Socrates. Peace.